Let's talk about perhaps the most important part of a movie, the ending. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going through my top 10 favorite movie endings of all time. Now, these are not my favorite movies, they're just the endings that I think of when I think of all-time great endings that are my personal favorites. So before I get into this, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below your favorite movie endings of all time, subscribe and hit that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. And check out the Unusual Couple podcast link down below for weekly podcast episodes with myself and my girlfriend Cam. We have a ton of fun with it. If you like discussions, debates, it can get heated over there, so go check it out. It's a blast. All right, so there will be spoilers for all the movies that I'm going to talk about. So what I'll do is I'll put timestamps so that right after I say the movie, if you don't want to be spoiled for that ending, you can scroll on to the next movie and so on. That way you can avoid spoilers because I don't want to spoil any of these endings for you guys. And again, these are just my favorite movie endings. So with that being said, coming in at number 10 is the ending of Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Obviously, at the final, moments of this film in the last act, there's a huge revelation made, reveal, big plot twist that Norman Bates was his mother all along. And it's great. It got me good. I didn't know the twist, but then you go to the actual end of the movie and it's so haunting. You just see Norman Bates and he gives this look in the camera that basically he has this evil smirk to him, and it's so bone-chilling. It's so bone-chilling. Like, that final shot had such a lasting impact on me that it comes in at number 10 because of that. So this is sort of lumping together that big twist reveal, but also the final moments of him kind of staring at the camera, and then you see the car get, pulled out of the mud. It's bone-chilling stuff. The ending of Psycho is all time in terms of twists. It's probably the biggest twist ending on this list. Yeah, it is with ease, actually. But just that shot alone, one of the best endings in cinema, easily. Number 9, I've got Back to the Future. And the simple reason is, roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. That is a quote that I've said many times. It's a quote I damn near want to live my life by at times. It's got so many interpretations to it. Of course, the movie ends with Marty getting back and everything seems fine, but then Doc pulls up and he's like, Marty, we've got to go, blah, blah, blah. And then it sets up, the sequel in the third film, but like, that's one of the best lines to end a movie. And then you've got the DeLorean and it flies off and boom, credits roll. Not only does it set up a sequel effectively, but it could be the perfect ending, like, to a one-off Back to the Future movie. It's like, roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. Obviously, when you watch part 2, they're just flying, they're in the future, whatever. But if you want to get deeper here, to me, and I kind of twist this just to my life and however I want to. That's how I do quotes sometimes. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. It's like, your life is what you make it. You don't need some set in stone rules or guidebook for how you need to make every life decision. It's like, just, whatever happens, happens. Let life take the wheel sometimes and just see what happens. Go on an adventure. Live your life, because we only have one. That's kind of a way I've twisted that quote to apply to my life. It's a beautiful ending. I just love that quote so much that it's become one of my favorite endings easily. At number 8 on my list, I've got the ending for Good Will Hunting. You'll come to find out that if a movie sticks the landing with a quote, it's probably one of my favorite movie endings. When it comes to Good Will Hunting, we find out that Will finally decides, I'm getting the hell out of here, It's beautiful because you see Ben Affleck's character pull up to Will Hunting's house and he's like, damn, he's gone. And that calls back to earlier when he's like, if you're stuck coming to my house in 20 years to watch the Patriots, I'll fucking kill you. It's like, you have so much potential, Will, use it. And he finally wises up and he goes to see about a girl because, of course, Robin Williams' character comes out, opens the mailbox, he's got the letter, and Will says, sorry, I had to see about a girl. And then, of course, he says, son of a bitch, she stole my line. As that is a callback to earlier when Robin Williams was giving me a therapy lesson and said that he gave that quote when he was not at the Red Sox game. So there's just so much to love about this ending. It's such an awesome callback for starters. Like, that's how you do an ending right. But also, it's so happy and feel good. And this is one of those movies that inspires me when it comes to, like, living my life the way I want to live it and with no regrets. And, like, the ending just always fully reminds me of that, to just embrace life, live with no regrets. And Good Will Hunting is an all-timer for me, but that ending, it hits. At number 7 on my list is the most recent film to come out, and that is the ending to Oppenheimer. A movie I've seen twice in theaters now, and a movie that's had a long-lasting impact on me over the past few months. I kid you not, it's probably going to be pretty high on my Spotify Wrapped, the score, because I listen to it daily when I edit or run or just do whatever, drive in the car. It almost is a cheat code to life. Like, it makes every little task in life fly by that much faster with more productivity. But score aside, The ending is hauntingly beautiful. It's this moment where we finally see the conversation between Albert Einstein and Oppenheimer from early in the movie, and we find out what they talked about. Oppenheimer goes over to Einstein and he's like, when I came to you with those calculations, we thought we might start a chain reaction that would destroy the entire world. And then Einstein's like, what of it? And Oppenheimer's like, I believe we did. And then we just see this close-up on Oppenheimer's face. He's staring out in the water, and he's having these premonitions or visions of a nuclear war in the world. Ties a bow on the overall movie where it's like they've unleashed a beast. The ending had me thinking about just mankind and existence. Very thought-provoking finale. The score is insane, especially in theaters there, but man, just the zoom in on his eyes and him realizing everything that he might have unintentionally created, and like the long-lasting impact and repercussions of his actions creating the nuclear bomb. It's a lot to process. Whew, chilling stuff. At number 6 on my list, I've got La La Land. One of the most beautiful endings, but also heartbreaking endings, as at the very end, we see this world play out where Mia and Sebastian end up together. They're happy, they have a family, and everything seems all sunshine and rainbows, but we come to find out it was only just a dream, essentially. This vision of what could have been. Ultimately, Mia and Sebastian go their separate ways to pursue their passions, and that won out over their true love for each other. It's the perfect story of right person, wrong time, or wrong life, I should say. Mia and her husband are at the jazz club, and then we see Sebastian on the piano, and they have this final look at each other before Mia walks away, where it's like this head nod, and they're like, I'm okay with this. Like, we had a good thing, but they're almost at peace in a way. And it's just tragic, heartbreaking, beautiful at the same time, because the romance over the film is so sweet and you buy in, but ultimately their true passions won out and they had to grow apart and go their separate ways. So heartbreaking, tragic ending, but one that's got to be an all-timer. Like, that montage is incredible. Getting into my top 5, I've got the ending to Avengers Infinity War. This is the only superhero film on this list for a reason, and it's the only MCU film because this is the one MCU film that really breaks from the mold or the template where the heroes always win. The villain wins here. The ending of this movie had my jaw on the floor. I was in a state of shock. The whole theater was. We were like, what's going on? It ended with Thanos snapping, half of humanity going away. That includes half the Avengers. And Captain America's like, oh God. We see everyone slowly get dusted away. And it cuts to Thanos. And the track Porch by Alan Silvestri is playing. He's just sitting there peacefully. He won. The MCU could have ended there. Thanos wins. That's it. That's something to think about. If the MCU actually ended there, world would never be the same. Number 4 on my list, I've got Toy Story 3. So Long Partner. That's all you need to know. This is beautiful send off to the toys at the time, and to me, I still view it as the ending of the Toy Story series. Andy plays with his toys one final time before passing them on to Bonnie, passing them on to a new generation, essentially. And this ending is so personal to me because I always am very adverse to change. I'm very, I don't enjoy the concept of change and to a new phase of life and moving on. It's scary. It gives me anxiety, and I get in my head about things like this. This movie reminds me it's all going to be okay. The toys are all together. So Long Partner. We had a good thing. It was beautiful, but you've got your life to go live, and I've got to go do my thing now. Beautiful ending that Toy Story 4 attempted to ruin. Toy Story 5 will likely try and do the same thing, but I'll always cherish this ending, and it will always remind me, reaffirm to me, that life's going to be okay. Change is scary, but we're all going to get through it. At number 3 on my list might be the happiest movie ending of all time, at least to me. It's the ending of Return of the Jedi. Look, this is a slept-on Star Wars movie. A lot of people go, you got Empire and New Hope, but Return of the Jedi is nothing compared to those two. I think they're all three pretty much on par with each other for the most part. But when it comes down to it, the end is so happy. The Death Star has been destroyed. The Empire is over. Palpatine is gone. At least we thought. Vader is gone, but he had his redemption moment. We're having a party, a celebration across the galaxy of peace. The Empire is no more. Everyone's just happy. You've got, the Ewoks playing the drums on Stormtrooper helmets. Luke is smiling, looking over at his friends, but then he looks out and sees Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Anakin, all as Force ghosts. It's so powerful. And then, of course, the final shot of them all happy, hugging, loving one another. I mean, what's not to adore about this ending? To me, this is like the ending of Star Wars in my head. Like, obviously, we got stuff after that I still enjoy, but it's a perfect happy ending, ties a bow on that trilogy in the Star Wars world. I mean, so brilliant for Luke to just look out and see the Force ghosts. Everyone that influenced him in his life and made him where he is today, their legacy still lives on through Luke, through the Force. It's beautiful, beautiful ending. At number 2 on my list is Inception. This video would be incomplete if I did not mention this movie. This is Christopher Nolan's best film in my opinion, but it's also one of the most controversial, but not really endings in a way. Controversial in a sense that, like, it's a good debate. Was he in a dream or reality? That's the debate here. So it's fun. It's fun to have this discussion. To me, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Dom Cobb, is in reality, because if I viewed it any other way, it would be a dissatisfying ending. I would be just really like, what? He didn't get back? Like, I want him to have that happy ending. The end of this movie's brilliant. It's when, you know, they wake up on the plane. They've successfully planted the idea in Cillian Murphy's head. Hans Zimmer's Time is playing, which is a brilliant track. It's one of the best, and you should just listen to it out of context. You'll think about your life pretty heavily. He makes it home. Everything seems too good to be true in a way. He starts to spin his totem. He walks over to see his kids, and the camera slowly pans in, and we see it topple a little bit, and then it cuts to black. So was he in a dream or reality? That's up to the viewer. To me, the only satisfying way to watch this movie is that he is, in fact, in reality and has a happy ending. I don't think it would have moved like that at all if it was not reality. Some people say, oh, it's a dream for this reason and this reason. I'm not a dream guy. I've always supported the idea that it was reality. Now, everyone's allowed to interpret this how they want. It's one of the great endings for a reason, because it's still being talked about years and years later, but he has to be in reality, in my opinion, for it to be satisfying. Either way, leave it to Nolan to make one of the most brilliant endings that leaves you guessing years and years later. But taking the top spot for my favorite movie ending of all time is the ending of Whiplash. No other ending in cinematic history that I can think of really gets me this elated, this jazzed, no pun intended. I'm always like clapping on my feet, just having an adrenaline rush during the finale of this film. Neiman finally comes back to music, and Fletcher screws him over. He's like, you think I'm f***ing stupid? I knew it was you. And then he gives him the wrong sheet music and basically screws him up, embarrasses him early on. But then Neiman says, you know what? I'm going to stick it to the man here. I'm going to go out here and prove what I am. He goes back out there. He improvises the whole show, ends up putting on a clinic in drumming, like all-time great stuff, like paying homage to the greats that he's been inspired by and just absolutely crushing it. Even so much so that he's won over Fletcher in a way, and Fletcher starts to conduct him. He puts on an all-time great performance, and it just goes to show, like, what it takes to be great, but at the same time, pretty dark. You've got the shot of his dad watching him from behind stage, and you can see the horror on his face, and it's sort of like, yeah, Neiman's great, but at what cost? He endured all this abuse from Fletcher, physically, mentally, you know, and he's become obsessed with this idea of greatness and being one of the greats throughout the entire movie. It seems like he might have finally achieved that, but at what cost? Who is he anymore? Has he lost his identity? He lost his girlfriend. He doesn't really have any relationships outside of drumming. His relationship with his dad's a little on the rocks, so it's haunting in a way, but at the same time, it's freaking awesome. I mean, he kills it, but there's that extreme close-up on Fletcher's eyes and the extreme close-up on Neiman's eyes, and then he ends up drumming, boom, cut to black. It's like, he just kicked ass, put on a show, and he's probably going to be known as one of the greats in whatever universe Whiplash takes place in. But at what cost? The final moments of this movie are a 10-minute adrenaline rush. There's a lot to process, but the way I view it is, Neiman won, but at what cost? And I keep saying that because it's true. All-time great movie ending, and it's funny, Damien Chazelle made this list twice. But those are just my picks for my top 10 favorite movie endings of all time. Let me know yours in the comments down below, and be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. And of course, check out the Unusual Couple podcast, link down below, for weekly podcast episodes with myself and my girlfriend Cam. We have a total blast, so go give it some love. But that'll do it. Thank you guys as always for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.